everybody, this is Chastity Elise. I am back for another video. Hopefully you all find this entertaining, but basically I'm back here to spill some more tea about myself. I feel like if you are not able to make a connection with your audience, they have no reason to listen to you, or no one feels like they can relate to you. So I want to be relatable, and so I am here to tell yet another story and have some tea time with you guys. Today, I am actually going to be talking about a guy that I met. It was back in February. It was a couple of weeks, or maybe the week before Valentine's Day. I think it was the week before Valentine's Day when I met him. But anyway, so I was at Walmart, and I don't know if anybody else has had this experience, but as a woman being in the beauty section, I mean, of course, I go to Walmart. I'm going to look in the beauty section, whether it's for, I mean, they have lotion, they have deodorant, they have facial washes, all in the beauty area. So anyway, I was over here looking for, I want to say lotion this day. And so this guy approaches me, and I walked by him one time, not paying attention to him. And then I ended up walking by him, I guess, the second time. And then he stops me, and he's like, you know, you're really pretty, and whatever, whatever. So we start talking. I was like, okay, cool. I'm not really dating or talking to anybody right now. And of course, you know, there's a lot of online dating that's going on with the current generation. And I just like to meet people organically. I like to meet a person like out at a coffee shop or out grocery shopping or something like that. I want to meet a person. I don't want to see them online and then swipe left or right on them. I want to actually meet them before I actually start talking and dating them. So anyway, I was like, okay, well, cool. I'll start talking to them, see what's going on. So right off the bat, like I asked him, I'm like, okay, well, you know, Valentine's Day is coming up. This isn't some kind of ploy for you to say, oh, I need a Valentine's Day date or something like that. Like, this is not a setup. You're trying to find somebody for Valentine's Day, some sucker, and I'm not going to be her. And he's like, well, actually, I don't celebrate holidays. And I don't celebrate birthdays except for my daughter's birthday. But other than that, I don't celebrate any holidays. So I'm like, okay, so you don't celebrate Christmas? And he's like, no. I'm like, okay, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa? He's like, no, I don't celebrate any holidays. They're all commercialized. So I'm like, okay, well, fine. So basically, you're not an atheist. Because that was my next concern. I'm like, well, are you an atheist? And he's like, no. He's just like, you know, it's all commercialized. And I'm like, okay, well, I know for a fact that my birthday, how's my birthday commercialized? I'm like, if I want to celebrate my birthday, I want to celebrate my birthday. And I don't want somebody to just go by and not acknowledge that it happened. Like, it's the day that your significant other would have been born. You're just going to ignore it. So anyway, and I apologize about that noise. I think it was like a big truck going through the neighborhood. But so that automatically was like like, I am not doing this. I'm like, yeah, okay, it was nice meeting you, I'll talk to you later. And then I actually ended up giving him my phone number before we had that whole discussion. But anyway, he ended up sending me a text later on as my mom, because I was there with my mom. So my mom and I are walking through Walmart shopping and whatnot, and we're like in the grocery section at this point. And so he sends me a text, and he's like, hey, let's meet up before you leave, whatever, whatever. And I'm like, I don't know you. I don't know what you want to meet up for. I'm like, pretty much after you said you don't celebrate holidays and birthdays, that automatically turned me off. Because I'm like, okay, well, Thanksgiving I get together with my family. And Christmas we get together with our family and we celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ. So I was just like, So I didn't meet up with him, and then he sent me a text and whatnot, and then we just kind of text a little bit back and forth. But I already knew, I'm like, not really. So we ended up actually talking on the phone, and then when we talked on the phone, he was like, you know, I do celebrate, like, pretty much like he feels that he should be able to appreciate somebody throughout the year and not just wait till a birthday or wait till Valentine's Day or wait till any holiday to celebrate his significant other. So his thing was, all throughout the year I show her that I appreciate her. It's not like I date you and then you never feel like you're appreciated, you never feel like anybody cares about you. So I'm like, okay, well, now that you've explained it, it doesn't sound so bad anymore. So I'm like, okay, well, fine, that's cool. But then we started talking about different subjects. And then the next thing we landed on was he wanted to talk about finances. He's like, oh, yeah, you know, I'm really interested in finances and blah, blah, blah. And then it went from he's interested in finances to, well, what's your credit score and what's your annual salary? And I'm like, I'm not telling you what my annual salary is. I mean, I just met you 5 minutes ago. And now you want me to tell you what I make on a yearly basis, and you want me to tell you my credit score. Then he wanted to know, oh, okay, well, is this through TransUnion or is this with Experian? Like, who? Credit Karma? It better not be Credit Karma. And it's like, okay, I barely know you. All I have is your first name, and I don't have your last name. I have no idea. I know nothing about you. I know nothing about your family, nothing. So I'm just like, what makes you feel like you're justified to ask me what my annual salary is and what my credit score is? So right there, I was just like, no, I cannot. So I ended up ignoring him. And then several days later, I got this text from a random number. And I'm this type of person, I'm like, well, if I don't have your number saved in my phone, I am not answering it. And if you don't tell me who you are, I am not answering your call or your text message. So it's like 12 a.m. Several days later, I get a text, says, hey girl. And I'm like, okay, it's not a number, it's saved in my phone. They don't have a signature to tell me who it is. So I just didn't respond to it. So a few minutes later, at first I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, I'm just not gonna respond. But then a few minutes later, I was like, you know, I'm kind of curious. I wanna know who it is. So I'm like, okay, well, let me put this phone number in Google and let me search the number and see who it belongs to. So I put it in Google and it automatically sends me down this road of this guy. And then I see I put up a picture. So I got a name now. And later on, I see another link that has a picture attached to it. I look at the picture and the guy is him. Completely different name. Completely different date of birth, and I see engagement photos. This guy is engaged to was engaged to somebody, and what he told me, he's like, yeah, you know, I have a kid or whatever, and I'm, you know, my baby's mom, I get along with her, but we're not together anymore. But he never mentioned anything about being engaged. But you want to know my credit score and what I make a year? I'm like, did you ask your baby mama these questions? And then on top of that, how you gonna tell me, oh, well, you know, me and my baby mama, we get along, but you don't tell me that you were ever engaged? It's like that never came up, but you have all of these questions for me that you want me to answer. So I keep looking and I notice, oh, he has a photo where he was arrested. And what he's arrested for, he's basically being arrested for exposing himself to somebody that was half his age. And I'm like, oh, okay, so not only was the guy engaged, I don't know if he still is or, you know, still was at the time we were talking, but at some point he was engaged. He didn't tell me anything about that. And then at some point he was arrested for exposing himself to somebody that was half his age. I'm like, okay. And then on top of that, asked me about my credit score and my annual salary. And then he was saying, oh, well, you know, I'm sure you make more than so-and-so, so why can't you just tell me what you make? So, I mean, after all of those red flags, I'm like, I can't. And then indecent exposure to somebody half your age, no. So, very quickly, that changed to this. Very quickly. And so that was my experience. That was the last person that I actually talked to. And I'm just like, I cannot. I mean, it's bad. So I'm just like, at this point, I'm afraid to date anybody. I mean, granted, I haven't been on a date in several years. I think the last official relationship I had was in 2014. It ended 2014. And then I dated somebody briefly in 2018. and that sucked. And then I met this guy back in February, and that went downhill very quickly. That was like a steep hill. You talking about steep? That hill was steep. So I'm just like, at this point, I'm good. I'd rather be by myself and lonely than to have drama and unnecessary crap in my life. And so with that being said, on to the next video, and I hope you guys at least found this somewhat entertaining. And with that, I am going to sip my tea. It's so good. It's not my job to expose you, for you've already done that. Send me a text from an unknown number. It's easy to trace it back. Found engagement photos, articles about an arrest. I won't say what for, but I will say keep it moving. You disgust me. Let somebody else deal with this hot mess. You told me you were born in the mid-90s, but the record shows 84. Can't believe you lied. How long were you going to be dishonest for? No, I'm not going to confront you. It's not worth my time. Besides, I've seen the countless movies on Lifetime. Letting someone in on everything you know of them very rarely goes well. Might end up missing with you locked in a jail cell. It would have been great if you could have just told the truth, though. Or maybe never approached. That would have been swell. In the end, the result remains the same. I'm not invested to a point that I really care, but just the fact that I very briefly entertained you and you were once engaged isn't fair. Then again, did you get married, or is your significant other just turning a blind eye? From what you said, you're no longer together. I can't imagine why. But for all I know, Mari's detective could say this is also a lie. Are you really concerned that I'm ignoring you? I'm not a fool, and I can be one heck of a detective. And what makes me upset about this little scenario is the fact that you send a late night, early morning message from some random number like you were a girlfriend of mine, and had the audacity to think it would be effective using a tired "hey girl" line. Luckily for me, I don't respond to random or anonymous phones. Unfortunately for you, this is where the trauma begins as I start turning over the stones. Reverse lookup, have you heard of it? You created this persona, but the internet didn't get the hint. With just a Google search, the number made your real name a target. Had no idea how to handle what I found. There are pictures, websites, articles, and all. No, I'm not answering your texts and definitely not your phone calls. I've got everything I need to know now, but the way you handle yourself is so foul. At this point, I'm literally scared to date. The thought makes me want to heave or hyperventilate. The last thing I want is an unsolved mystery's fate. Where the same guys, I know they're in high demand, but all I need is just that one good man. Talk your ish, I'll spit that fire, and by the time I'm done, your question, should I retire? Malleable, just like a wire. Versatile, can wear any attire.